right.
Okay.
Here
Go
we
with
go.
it. Play it by ear.
That's right. Play it by ear, and we'll figure it out. I think we're good enough. We can figure it all out. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mechanics Chess Social. Friday at noon. I'm Abel Talamantes, Chess Director of the Mechanics Institute. With me is Dr. Judith Stare, who's General Manager of the club. And we have a very, very special guest, someone who I've known for quite a few years, but has been in the chess business for, I think, over 3 decades. It's Dr. Alan Kirshner from the Weibel chess program. How you doing?
I'm doing great today. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Welcome, Alan.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. And
I just did something sexist. I said, you guys. I'm sorry, Joe.
That's fine.
So you caught yourself. So you.
I caught myself. I do that from time to time.
And actually, what kind of inspired me to reach out to you is because I just read that you might be retiring after how many years at Weibel? Was it 33?
This would have been the 33rd year.
Wow. And before we get into how all that began, because that's something I'm really curious about, what inspired that decision and what's going into its continuity?
Well, this year I'll be 83. There's an extent to how long I'm going to be around. The Weibel program's been going for 33 years, and as much as I'd like to continue it, forgetting the situation right now, my feeling was that I had to prepare somebody to follow through, especially if it should happen during the year.
Right.
And so gave it some thought. There were a couple of programs that really wanted Weibel, as you can imagine, with 170 to 240 kids in the one school.
Yeah, huge program.
Let me go back to something. I just jump back on a thought. You said I've been in the chess business. No, I've been in chess business.
Right.
Quote.
Right. Wrongly stated.
Weibel is under the PTA.
Right. It is a different structure than.
I'm just playing games here.
Yeah.
But in any case, back to the question, which made me think about it. The fact is that I was worried about a business group coming in. My fear was that they would use their program, their ideas, and to a large extent, most of them, if not all of them, are what I call revolving door businesses, chess businesses. They go in, they teach the same things each year, maybe a little better, once in a while, if you're large enough, maybe 2 different levels, but they're more interested in the money often than the quality, although the quality can be there, it's maybe an unfair statement. But in any case, I was lucky enough that there was another father there who was interested to take over. And he's got 2 daughters. I think you may know them. Sarah Kunjara and Sabrina. I'm sure that they've probably been at the mechanics.
Yeah.
And his name is Kui Kunjara, and he had played chess in Indonesia. He had the same kind of love for the game that I have. And he said that, he'd be willing to take over the program, and he'd prefer to do it with a chess committee of parents that would work under the PTO. And that was, to me, perfect, because then it remained Weibel chess.
Right.
And agreement also that they would maintain the same goals and mission that I had established within the program. And so I thought about it and decided that, that was a good way to go. And it would certainly have a transformation era where they would shadow me to learn everything I did and how we work with the PTO, Parents Teachers Organization. And of course, that was supposed to be this year. Schools shut down. At this point, this would have been the last year for me. It may still be, but at one point, whenever the schools do open, at that particular juncture, I don't think even then we'd actually be able to get a program in there. I think the social distancing might prevent it. But I did not want to teach online with Weibel. It just didn't have the same flavor.
Now, Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, my 8 or 9 instructors that I have at this juncture, they're all doing chess teaching online on their own. There are many, many programs that have online classes. It wasn't something I was going to do, and in fact, we finished up the program at the end after the schools were closed on March 13th in Fremont. Finished it up online with our instructors, and I found the experience not very comforting, to say to some, and certainly wasn't fulfilling to me.
And
It wasn't the same as in the classroom by any means.
And is Fremont doing? They've already decided that they're going to do online for the school.
Oh yeah, Fremont decided a few weeks ago that it would be all online. That they would not open the schools until the virus pretty much had died in its expansion. And at that point, they would take a vote. So it appears that, if anything, it'll be out the first semester and maybe even the second.
And the continuity of the program that you're planning with the QUI and the committee, and is it the instruction's going to continue online?
No, that was my point. No, as far as I'm concerned, the online classes just do not work with 15, 12 kids,
sure,
even 10 kids.
And especially,
You can't really interact. And the whole point of any team, school, team, club, is the interaction between the children. They have to feel that sense of community.
Sure. The team,
Yeah.
And
I found that especially with our girls program.
So
they are close, and that's part of the reason we've had so much success. But I'm sorry, I'm going ahead.
No, so tell us about your program is not just a local power. I mean, this is a national championship powerhouse program that competes at the national level for the national championships. How many national championships does Weibel have?
Well, we have 2 open championships, and that is the big tournament that pulls 2,500 children or more.
Right.
That's held, in the spring, and we have 7 girls national championships. Most of them, all of them, after 19 year I go, show my age, after 2011.
And just for the viewers, so they know, so the Open Championship these are the USCF Spring National Scholastic Championships, right? Exactly. And then the girls is the all girls tournament that usually held in Chicago, run by the
KCF.
Yeah, I think the Kasparov Foundation, right? And the Renaissance Nights organization in Chicago in April, usually, right?
And supported by some women's group out there.
Yes.
So, Alan, tell us about the part that I'm really curious about as much as the chess is. So you've been a college professor as well. It's like how long have you been doing that? You've been a professor of is it history and political science at Ohlone?
At Ohlone, yes. Yeah.
How many years?
Well, at Ohlone it was 41 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 41, 42 when I retired. And I taught at a university previous in Florida, University of West Florida, actually. And before that, I taught in junior high school and high school. So education for 50 years in the class.
And in what year did it happen? Because, I mean, running a program like Weibel, I mean, that's in itself a full-time job, but you also had your full-time job. At what year was it that it came together where you were doing both and you started doing both?
Well, 1987, beginning of the fall, yeah, on the chess.
Right.
Okay. I have always been a volunteer. I've always liked working with organizations. I got it from my mom. Of course, she always became president of the organizations because she always brought the food. Since I didn't do that, I didn't always.
Yeah, you didn't get to the top. Yeah.
And as the audience does not, I competed in powerlifting.
Yeah, you're in amazing shape.
And again, I started a powerlifting club team. We got kicked out of a gym because we were making too much noise. And they wanted to turn it into a business person's gym. And so we put it up in my garage. And one of the people called it the Mission Muscle Factory. And then there were tournaments going on, but we were concerned with the steroids, the drugs that were being used.
Performance enhancing.
So we brought in and created in California the American Drug-Free Powerlifting Association, where we use two types of drug testing. We use the polygraph, and we use the urine tests, which were really expensive in those days. So we used mostly polygraph.
So that's the equivalent of today's anti-cheating in chess. It's the equivalent of today's anti-cheating in chess.
Yeah, within limitations. You're just not taking urine. And
I wish it was that simple.
If it were only that easy.
I'm sorry, Judith?
I wish it was that simple, that a simple urine test would detect
for chess cheating.
Well, I mean, there was one proposal at a time for the Cal Chess Board to buy a metal detector and put it between people's legs and check out, but they hadn't have the.
Yeah.
But in any case, I started running with a friend of mine, powerlifting championships, and even did the nationals in 1986. By 1991, I decided that the nationals were a little too much. It's kind of heavy weights, you know?
Yeah, literally.
And setting up platforms, and we were getting tremendous larger groups than anybody around the area.
Yeah.
And, you know, we did catch people from time to time. Sadly to say, still don't understand why they were trying to compete when they knew they were going to be drug tested, but that's all right. They always think they can beat it. And probably some did. And at that point, I decided lifting chess pieces was lighter. I had established in 1987 the wide belt chess because of my children. We'll talk about that later. And I started running chess tournaments as well.
So from 87 to 90, it's almost like you did three different things that occupied your time, the powerlifting.
Well, I wasn't running chess tournaments, but you're absolutely right. I was running chess and powerlifting, and the boys came down to the powerlifting. In fact, as long as you mentioned it, okay, I brought a picture of our first chess team.
Oh, fantastic. Put it up. Yeah, I know that picture. Yeah.
You've seen it on the site, I suspect.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Well, I don't know. You can't see it here. Maybe you can see it back here. Okay, look. Here. It's a powerlifting shirt. We didn't have any chess shirts.
They're still being made.
Yeah. And, you know, my oldest son, at the time was in his teens. And he's not obviously in the chess thing, but he actually, you know, helped us and competed and actually refereed at times. So it was a lot of fun. But as I said, I moved away from that, stopped competing myself. And then in 91, I was pretty much just chess.
So what was it about the Y-Belt program that it was able to blossom and recruit as many kids? I mean, was it just the organization? Was it the sense of camaraderie and team spirit that you built in, or was everything combined? Or what was it that allowed you to?
Yeah, I would say everything combined in a sense. What it was, well, first of all, and to be, you know, somewhat candid, the area here is an affluent society. But when I first came to Fremont, it was working class money. People owned McDonald's, lots of them. They owned window washing companies from San Francisco. And to be honest, very few of those kids went on to college. They had their parents' businesses to fall into.
Yeah.
Okay. But the community began to change. And we began to have immigrant groups coming in. Silicon Valley expanded out into the area. And there was a greater interest in education. In fact, I was taken away when I came to California in this area with the fact that not many kids went off to school. And, the explosion came because we had people who knew that chess was good for learning. They weren't interested in becoming chess players or,
pros.
Yeah. They were not going to be, champions. And the other group previously were more interested in Little League, right? Soccer. I mean, it continued with the groups that came in, but not on that level. Chess became, in many ways, more important to them. So we expanded in that level from a group here. Now, you may have seen in the picture that one of the players is a boy from India, and the other is a girl from China. And as you can see, we started with the girls right away in the team, and that was our first state championship in 1989. And the team came in fourth. And being fourth, we were cheered. We did so well, and it was not like first place, but we felt great. Went back, started a club, and the school was excited. They even built a trophy case for our trophies. Now, they don't want them.
Because they have so many.
Get them out of here.
Yeah, that's what you strive for, to get where it's like, we got too many of them. And actually, we have. Go ahead, Judy.
So your program is a very unique or very strongly thought out, very carefully thought out, strong program. It combines both classes, attending classes, being in your specific level, as well as required tournament attendance. So can you tell us a little bit about how you came up with this program, your specific Weibel program that has, how many years did it take you to come up with this, and why do you put emphasis on tournament attendance?
Well, we didn't. Okay. In fact, we still don't necessarily. We've got a team and a club. Okay. When we got into large numbers, we realized that some people wanted to compete. Well, let me go back a little and give some background. That may be the best to do. Okay. My father taught my brother and I chess when I was 7 years old, and he was 2.5 years younger. Mm-hmm. He's still 2.5 years younger. But in any case, I got into chess because it was the only thing I could ever beat my brother at, literally. The young brother keeps beating you at everything, be it Monopoly or whatever. So I got excited by it, but I was not a competitive chess player. I just loved it. Spent time, playing it from time to time, but I never studied. Didn't even know about the United States Chess Federation. I'm not even sure it existed back then. I ran a gym in New York City while I was in college making money, slept in the gym, and to go to college. And came in a grandmaster, my first knowledge of anything. And I played well, I guess. He came in, kept playing with me. And he wasn't teaching, we just played. Mm-hmm. I'm sort of regretting he never really used teaching. We played, I would say, 100 games, or near it. Wow. I lost 99.
But you got one.
Well, you won one.
I won one at the end, and the strange part is he gave me his chess set, and he never came back.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's just, a great story. It's an amazing thing in my life. And so obviously, since my dad had passed on chess to me, I began to pass it on to my kids. And I've always, as I said, been a volunteer. When my older boy was in school, I was always on the PTA, going in, helping, and even teaching gymnastics after school.
Is that right? Wow.
That was before the chess.
Now, Alan,
there was no chess in the area. Some schools may have had it here and there. This place was vacant, almost. Mm-hmm. And when the boys started, I have two sons that play chess. My older son played it, but as I said, it was no tournaments. There was nothing that I knew of, and he actually played in what they at that point called, the older son, MGM, Mentally Gifted Minors Program. It's now GATE.
Oh, yeah.
They changed the name. And supposedly changed the system, but they didn't. And then when the younger boys started playing, we were in a gymnastic class put on by the city of Fremont, and there were two other people there from Mission San Jose High School, elementary school. Uh-huh. And we were there, and then one of the mothers said, "Hey, there's going to be a little chess tournament at the library." And so, we went with three families. And all of a sudden, my middle son, he did very well. And he just fell in love with the game, which I had a feeling he would.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the guy who ran the tournament, Ray Orwig, was running the Scholastic program in California, in Northern California.
Right.
Yeah.
There were no tournaments here. These were not rated tournaments. Okay, they were at the libraries because his wife was a children's librarian in Fremont, and the Alameda County Library and the Haywood Library had little chess tournaments, not rated, but he was running rated tournaments in San Rafael.
Right.
And so I decided we'll take him to a couple of tournaments. And we went up to San Rafael, and he was doing well.
Yeah,
right away in 87.
I played in them in like 1986, 85, around there.
Well, you were even before we got started. Oh, wow.
Barely.
Well, you look good. I didn't realize
Thank
you were that
you. Yeah. Pushing 50. But see, how can I compare to you? I mean, you still look like a power lifter of 30 years old.
Well, I don't know. I guess, what can I say?
So
everybody looks like kids to me.
Hey, Alan, you mentioned about how you love working with organizations, and you talk about all your volunteerism and joining organizations. It's been our experience that just chess organizations, at least in Northern California, sometimes can be quite divisive in terms of, especially with regards to scholastic chess. What's been the evolution of that from when you started? Has the subject of scholastic chess always been kind of like a hot topic with people, or
there was no scholastic problem? There was no scholastic chess, okay, to speak of. Ray Orwig was scholastic chess. Period. He ran the states. There was no voting on it. There was a NorCal organization that later changed its chess early in the 80s and they changed its name to Cal Chess. Okay. Jim Eade, who I learned, asked me to join the Cal Chess board because I was running tournaments as a scholastic representative, because Ray didn't want to be on the chessboard. I mean, there were, little problems, but we used to joke, without going into a lot of history, so we don't have a lot of time, that in Southern California, nobody talks, nobody agrees with anybody. They all had their little, blocks, the little bubbles. They didn't work together. Their state championship with all the people down there pulled maybe 100 kids, 200 kids, because they were fighting. They all had their own groups.
Right.
There was nothing here. there was no chess, as I pointed out in an earlier, statement. They weren't interested, the kids or families, very much. But there were adult tournaments. And then, as I said, Ray had the tournaments. I had to travel there. So we've changed in this area. We've matched Southern California and perhaps worse. Why? Because by 1990s, chess exploded. The only person that had a chess program was Elizabeth Shaughnessy and
Berkeley
Chess. And I had no idea. It took me 3-4 years to even learn about it. It so happened that there was a guy that I met from Roos Elementary in Hayward, and he had a little program there. And we used to go over there and play with them. And then he invited a third group, this Berkeley chess group. Oh, really? I mean, it was a program. It wasn't just a school like us.
Yeah.
And, they came in, strong shirts, everything.
Right. Organized.
And all of a sudden, Elizabeth Shaughnessy says, "Where did you guys come from?" Because we beat them.
Yeah.
We beat the other team. And so, okay. She had started it, I think, in about 87. And it was a great, expansive, and large program. And of course, it's massive now still. And from there, everything was fine. And all of a sudden, there became that conflict among different programs that began to open because they saw money being made.
Right.
There was not, as I repeat, anybody on the Cal Chess board had anything to do with scholastics.
In its inception,
it was an adult organization. And once the money got in to chess, the competition between the businesses and then with the other groups with egos like mine, we began to see, conflict occur.
Sure.
And, and then, they saw this, then they got into the issue of, we're going to distribute the tournaments. Those tournaments were set by people, and they would be done by people. Ray did the tournament.
Right.
I worked the tournament when I took it over from Ray because he didn't want to do it anymore. With the president of Cal Chess at the time, after Jim Meade, and that was Tom Dorsch. Yeah. He had been there before, and he actually paid for the first state championship that I ran, and that was it. It was done that way. The person who ran it kept it going.
You never got. I'm sorry. You never got involved in at the USCF level with any.
Yeah, I did. I did a little. I was on a scholastic board for a while.
Okay. And
not very long. They kicked me off because I was too controversial.
You were opinionated.
Not me.
So, what are you? Yeah, go ahead, Jude.
So you mentioned Tom Dorsch. He recently passed away. So can you tell us a little bit about those years where you organized the state championship with him, or what were those years like, and how is it different now? And what are those few things that you would think that would be good to bring back to this year's from those?
I don't think you can bring him back.
Nothing. Okay. So there's no good tips we can learn from the past.
I mean, it's hard to say that there were things to learn. I mean, there were things to learn that we learned. But the fact is, it's grown so massive.
Yeah.
Okay. And the fact that it's massive. And there are so many groups, and there's so many chess is going to continue to create those problems.
Yeah.
All right. And people, as I said, in those days, there was no conflict on it. Okay, we're running a tournament. Great. Somebody's running a tournament. Now, I want it. Okay, and I'm not sure how you're going to change that. The hard part is, of course, getting people who are efficient enough to organize tournaments. But the chess expansion is one of the things, or what the Cal Chess Board did is one of the things that I think could be changed. They were involved in supporting Scholastic Chess, even with no Scholastic people on it, because they actually set up an organization which Jim Eade helped in getting boards and pieces for the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And that helped. They spent money helping organizations, bringing people in and education. I don't see that today.
Just
I see the money going out or sitting.
Just like the philanthropy of chess.
Yeah, there was philanthropy, and they were happy to to do the organ. Oh, okay. I'll give it another way. When I got into the Cal Chess organization with Jim Eade wanted a journal, a good journal. There had been a journal before.
He still wants a good journal.
Yeah, exactly. And he paid for it. Okay, and they won many awards. And of course, I wrote for it, and even had a couple of pictures in it. And won awards for the pictures from the chess. What is it called? Journalist Cal Chess. I mean, California, not National
Chess journalists of actually Judith's a part of that, I think.
And nice glossy imaging, and it gave us a sense of the organization. And I set up websites, and I'll tell you, I'm still upset, about one thing, two things maybe. I set up two websites, one for Cal Chess and one for Cal Chess Scholastics. The Cal Chess Scholastics was where everything for the chess tournaments was done. The articles dealt with Scholastic Chess. I sold the websites to Cal Chess. Okay? It was, one, the Cal Chess website has not been kept up, although there's been some improvement. And the Cal Chess Scholastic website has disappeared. Okay, everything now is being done by the organization, the business that takes over. Everything is done to advertise their business, not Cal Chess.
Right.
So, yeah.
So the Scholastic Chess grew, and you were able to grow the Culture State Championship, the Scholastic State Championship. I think the highest number is still under your leadership, right? I think 1,300 or 1,400.
Well,
I was getting
we
close.
send in the other areas like they're doing now, the Blitz and other things being rated. So it was about 1,400 players total.
1,400, yeah.
That's incredible.
I mean, that's a massive amount of kids. Like, I remember the year where we had close to 1,300 together with the Blitz and everything. And people have to worry about, kids being lost, right? And so have you ever had any funny stories during the tournaments where you had to solve unexpected problems? I'm sure you have a few.
Well, I think the one expected problem that was really the biggest, that I've ever experienced, and you never did, thank God, was we were at the convention center in Santa Clara, and I get a report that some of our kids drove one of their tractors through the wall of the convention.
Oh my goodness.
How was that?
Their tractors.
Well, the things that pull this stuff around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the cars. They got on it and drove it. All right. We were getting the convention center for $5,000 for 1,400 kids or whatever, because when we started, we met this guy, and I say we with Tom and I, whatever, and later. And he was older than I was at the time. I think he was 89, and he wanted to leave something for Santa Clara. And he knew the guy at the convention center, and so we set it up under his name, the tournament itself.
Yeah.
That lost, because we won't go into the details of politics and why that's lost. But that's obviously, they're paying full price. And, okay, $20,000, $30,000 to rebuild a wall, no insurance really to cover that.
Yeah.
I was panicking. Turns out they were not our kids. They had come across Great America.
Nice.
And, my heart dropped. So that's the only
which
big
round
story.
was it?
We had problems with people calling the fire department on the phones there. So we learned very rapidly to have parents out by all the phone booths. Now we don't have to worry about it. You wouldn't have to worry about it because they got it on their little.
Yeah.
They get the alert. Yeah.
But so we learned some things, but nothing strange that we would say. We had some kids climb on some stuff. Yeah. But I think that's,
Kids climb, right?
But,
nothing new to that.
ruin the escalator. Had to shut it down. Yeah, you had, I don't know.
We got our own stories. Yeah.
But these are all fun few days, and
I had some more. I have better stories. I mean, when I took kids to nationals, the first time.
So that's a big trip for anyone who's listening to us. I mean, that's a big trip for a California team, because you not only have to train and organize and everything, but you have to buy the tickets, which is usually in the East Coast, and stay at a hotel. So that's a huge commitment, not only from the parents, but from the coaches as well. So at what point did you decide that it's time to take up that commitment and go to nationals?
Well, it started in 1994 because the nationals were held in San Jose.
Yeah, that was...
They weren't held in some places. And obviously we brought a good-sized team. Yeah. And, we did okay, but never, near first. And it's fourth, always the highest, low. In some of the lower division classes, we thought we were going to win one. We were ahead all the tournament, and then they found somebody who had cheated and had changed the standings, and we came in second at the end after it was over. That drove me nuts. But that was, and nobody in this area had, done much nationals. Ray had taken teams there, but it was it wasn't to the Open.
Right. The unders. Yeah.
So and as I said, it was a different world. And at that point, they wanted me to take. The parents wanted a group to go to the next nationals in 1995. And so, we gathered the group, not a lot of kids, I mean, about 12 kids. And we went into the Open and took a fourth in Little Rock. And so
it just shows that USCF should think about branching out the nationals, because if they would find other locations other than Nashville, it would bring in new blood, right? New groups to Scholastic.
Well, I think you said it directly, but then it's making money.
Yeah.
And they're making a lot of money from it that they didn't before. Okay, the first nationals I went to was 1989. My middle son won the state championship in the K3, first grade, and I said, okay, I heard about the nationals. Then I read the book from Searching for Bobby Fischer, and it scared me. It wasn't like the movie. The father was, wouldn't let him go swimming at the tournament because he had to be studying chess before the games. And it was held in Phoenix. And you walked around, they had all these vendors out there. Lots I paid 30, 40 vendors. It was like beautiful. It was in a stadium. And, when the chess, began to expand with the scholastics, and they took it over. I like traveling to these places. There are places I would never have even thought about going. You know? But we saw all kinds of things. You go out to some areas and you go visit the museums while the kids were playing chess.
Yeah.
Make a whole trip out of it.
You know, I get tired of Nashville. I get tired of, Dallas. I don't know.
So Alan, what are you going to be doing with your time now that you're taking a step back out of the YBL program?
I never have a problem finding something to do.
What mischief are you going to get yourself into?
It's funny when I retired from teaching in 2012. People kept asking me, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And my response was, "I'm going to get on Facebook." Of course, I was joking. I had no intention of going on Facebook and Twitter.
I haven't done that yet myself.
But I did.
Yeah.
Because my sister was on and showing things. And I'll tell you the truth. I enjoyed it because I was in contact now with students I had 40 years ago, or things of that nature.
Well, you're doing it for the right reasons rather than...
Yeah, I mean, it was an interaction.
Bragging about what you're...
I never went on
Twitter
because I could never write things in 160.
You'd be restrained.
There was no way. I still do photography. I still do weightlifting. I still read. And at this point, I've got no plans for organizing anything else or causing trouble anywhere.
And seriously speaking, I mean, with someone that's done what you've done with the YBL program, and you have a friendly competitive rivalry with another school there, which probably
friendly competitive, okay,
or let's just say competitive, but it serves both of your interests because it makes you each better. Is there a part of you that sort of is looking forward to taking a step back from that part of it, where you can let someone else sort of take that competitive fire for YBL, and you can sort of sit back and enjoy it more, or is that competition, that love, that drive always going to be a part of how you see the YBL program?
Let's put it this way: I have regretted almost every day that I retired from teaching. I'm already missing the kids from chess. If I don't have kids to hassle, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I'll probably have to take it out on my grandchildren.
And teach them chess. Teach them chess.
I mean, we don't know, to a large extent, what the future is going to be like. I mean, it's a strange world we're living in right now, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a unique world. I, as a historian, I didn't appreciate, the 1918 virus, the Spanish flu, as it was called. Yeah. And you just didn't see that in the history very much. I mean, it was there. The Black Death was there, but to feel the impact of it,
right,
and how it does stop you from all of these things, that's frightening to me, especially in the later years of my life.
Yeah.
So the answer is am I going to miss the competitiveness? Am I going to miss the teamwork? Yeah, but we didn't really become that competitive, to be honest, until that neighbor that we competed with.
Right.
Won the nationals the first time.
Right.
At that point, I said, if they can do it, we can do it. And we went back. We went in the next year, and we won it, which I still don't believe, to be honest. The K3. And by the way, just to be proud of of course, they don't count five people. They count four for the nationals.
The scores. Yeah.
We had only one guy and four girls that won that nationals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's super impressive.
It was my belt. And, we're still proud of that. And, the change came. That competitive team that you're talking about, Mission San Jose Elementary School, and we were competing all the time. And even, when we never knew who was going to win. And often we drew. And one time we drew, the coach of that team said, "We don't know who's going to get the first place trophy. Why don't we arm wrestle for it?"
So there's a question that I got from actually Adisa Baijanko. I was recently on his podcast, and would be curious of your answer. So what do you think about girls in chess, and why is it that they are it's so hard to get them to chess and then keep them to chess? And what's your solution to it?
Not for Weibel, but for all the rest of us.
Not for Weibel, but for Weibel solution. Weibel has solution, right?
Well, I think we've been successful because, as I said,
so what's your secret, and why is the national?
We've set a tradition so the girls are there. Number one. Number two, I guess you'd call me a feminist. In the word that I felt it was important to make sure the boys didn't go around calling the girls cootie kissers or saying, "Oh, it's just a girl, we're going to play." That was never allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I even emphasized the fact because, it happened that some of our best players, the highest rated players, were girls over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And, that's made a difference. So the other element was the camaraderie that occurred among the girls at that point. And so that spirit that developed. I'll never forget the first time, that Berkeley Chess wanted to play our girls and set up a base, and we won all 15 of the games in the tournament with them. And they didn't want to play us anymore.
Well, Elizabeth has been a major figure in women in chess and girls in chess, and so that's always so her reaching out and wanting to play with you guys. That's something. So so basically, your advice to those programs who would like to attract more girls is to create a team spirit for girls within the class. Or what other?
And being sure that they stop any of that
bullying.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel like we notice that less and less now, and maybe that's the work that like that you've been doing, and actually it goes to like a bigger thing. At Mechanics, we frequently have a lot of older players that normally are seeing now influx of kids playing regular tournaments. And we've had players be hesitant to want to play tournaments that have kids. But, Judith and I have been noticing that, you don't really see that much where a kid will act inappropriately or unsportsmanlike, towards an adult that they've won. When Judith and I have seen it, we correct it, right away. But I've been sort of proud at the way the kids in our community, especially given how many there are, play pretty respectfully with older players and show good sportsmanship and have that. So I like that it's sort of ingrained in the chess culture with the help of a lot of organizations like yours of how to conduct themselves when playing with adults.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing that's interesting. You're talking about kids playing with adults. Today, most of the lower divisions are all kids.
Right.
It's expanded so much that you have an amazing number of kids in the tournaments.
Right.
Adult tournaments, open tournaments, if you will. You didn't have that.
Yeah, and now they're like 65-70% of the open section, which is phenomenal.
That is amazing. We didn't have the tournaments, so the kids went to adult tournaments. So my kids.
Yeah.
But it's a dramatic change, and it used to be that the adults, when they played a kid, it was hard on them because if they lost, oh my God, I lost to a kid, and if they won, oh God, I stepped on that kid, I beat that kid. I felt bad about it. I don't think there's any adult today that feels bad about beating one of the kids.
No, not at all, and vice versa, right? Which is good to see because it really shows the uniqueness of the game. It's, it's for everyone, and we all treat each other the same, or at least we should. Well, Alan, I just want to say that, I've known you for a few years, and it's been great seeing you with your kids at the tournaments and events. And as soon as I saw that, you were taking a step back, I knew I wanted to talk to you and talk more about it. I know you're always going to be part of that program, but it's been great to know you and see what you've done with the program, and whatever mechanics can do to sort of just help out the program, just in terms of whatever we can do, just let us know, because it's fun to see Scholastic Chess. We're big fans of Scholastic Chess, and it's just an honor to know you and a pleasure to talk with you, and maybe we'll get you back on the show somehow again sometime, talk about something else.
I'll tell you, I miss you too and your organizational ability, and we didn't get a chance to talk about the problem of organizing the tournaments. And I'm looking at two people who have done an outstanding job, and so it's great to talk to you again.
Thank you, and that means a lot to us coming from you. All right, Alan.
Thanks for coming, Alan, and congratulations to all you have done, and special congratulations to your grandson. It's always fun to see the chess passed on generation to generation, and you're certainly doing a great job in that. So.
Well, as I think I wrote Abel, my middle son beat me at 8 years old and never played me again because I was too
too weak.
I'm lucky my grandson has not beaten me yet, and he's 9. So
soon enough, he's online a lot.
Definitely improved teaching chess. I'll talk to you guys some other time.
All right.
Have a great weekend, Alan. Thank you so much for coming.
Dr. Alan Kirshner from the YBEL Chess Program, and a legend with us. And for Dr. Judith Starry, I'm Abel Talamantes. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all again very soon. Thank you.
And don't forget to play tonight in the free Bliss tournament. And tomorrow evening we have a USCF online rated tournament for anyone who wants to join on chess.com.
We're going to do that.
The shameless plug at the end.
We have the second day of the Tuesday Night Marathon online this month. So anyone interested, please check out our website, chessclub.org, and sign up for the tournament.
So you talk about the organizational ability. There it is right there.
Well, we can't leave without.
Well, you need to be able to promote.
No, yes. Absolutely.
When we first started with the Cal Chess State Championships, we sent flyers to every library in the area.
Yeah, that's what it takes. You got to do what it takes.
Not before, so yeah.
All right, thank you, Alan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Okay.